Welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us, and we have come to another point in our modern time when they have erased a beautiful relic of ancient history with unknown origins and replaced it with a smoldering pile of dust, which they'll restore, but not nearly as good as it was. So this building, the Copenhagen Stock Exchange, the Borsen, an absolutely unbelievable building, not only for its structure, but for its art potential. All of those windows are lined with statues of different figures. Every one of those columns is a different figure with an entirely different artwork, totally unique, totally perfect. Every one of those, every single one of those little beams is completely different and unique, and they don't attribute any of them to a specific name of history. So again, lost. The truth did not survive. And look at this, a massive Starfort, and the Borsen, several actually, within Starforts. And the Borsen is across the street from Freetown, Christiania, which is very interesting because it's a free, kind of ungovernmented zone, kind of. But that changed 10 days before this building went on fire. But again, I'll get back to that in a second. But look at these things. Every one of those columns, every single one is different. This place could have even been mud flooded. It could be stuff underneath. There's most likely a basement, and its foundation is probably known to certain people, but not most. But look at that ornamentation. Absolutely unbelievable. This is a work of art, a beautiful work of art. And I bet if we piece together the meaning and the symbology of those, we would probably find a whole nother narrative that we didn't know about. But right across the street, Christiania, 10 days before, Denmark shuts down Cannabis Pusher Street in hippie enclave Christiania. And I've been to this place 3 different times, and I loved it. It was amazing. I actually have an earring that's basically fell apart in my ear for like 10 years after I got it, and it's still there, a little remembrance from Christiania. But they were digging this up. They were so proud, and this to me was a symbol of a sea change in Denmark. And this was, again, 10 days before that fire. So things are happening in Denmark. I'm not sure about the interworkings of the government, what changed and what's going on, but you can tell. I think this is part of a new kind of cleansing thing as they're trying to get 5-minute cities, all climate change, more efficient buildings. We got to get rid of the ancient ones, but we'll do it in a way where it's an accident. So we can just say oopsies, and then everyone will get away with it, even though we most likely set it on fire. Because look at this. This building's lasted for at least 400 years, okay? But when it burned down, it was surrounded by scaffolding. And if that wasn't sketchy enough, surrounded by scaffolding that was advertising the new Batman movie with the slogan "Fear Nothing." Think about that. Every time a new Batman movie comes out, some type of disaster happens. It's almost like they use it as a weird kind of symbol and okay sign to, this is where the destruction's going to happen. But the place was apparently it was going through some restorations, supposedly. So they had this scaffolding completely surrounding it, all the white kind of material that blocks out the view of the actual beautiful building. And they replaced it with this scaffolding nonsense, which would just give any arsonist the perfect opportunity to do whatever they could to this building. Kind of like 9/11, where they can plant things and incendiaries, and they can make things happen. Look at that Batman. How visual. What a good advertisement that is for that movie. But because this article was all over the place when this came out, and now it's kind of just being swept under the rug as they're like, oh, this is our Notre Dame moment, feel bad for us. But it doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter what the motivation behind it was. Don't think about that stuff. Just don't think about the impact that we want this to have on the collective psyche or the eradication of history factor. Just think about the fact that we suffered this catastrophe accident. Nobody knows in our artworks. Don't worry, we saved the artworks, though. So they have guys kind of running out, supposedly saving the artwork. But to me, when you have scaffolding around a building, you're clearly hiding something. So I wonder where a lot of these sculptures went. Were they just going to let them all burn in this arsonist fire that they most likely set themselves? Or are they going to take them away and put them in private collections while the scaffolding is up here so no one can see it, and then be like, oh my God, we lost all these things? Meanwhile, they'll circulate around private collections forever, and no one will know, and they'll just be trading it back and forth, and their part of the history will be probably being written in a place where we can't access it. and acknowledge it. And they're piecing it together. It could be off realm where they sent this stuff. Who knows? It's a pity that they sacrificed that spire though, because that is amazing. And it's apparently a dragon and something, a kind of dragons intertwining. It's supposed to represent their friendship with Norway and stuff like that, but who knows? I think it's much more distant and different than they tell us it is. But again, that scaffolding blocks out everything. 1625 they date it to. The building was under renovation and was thus surrounded by scaffolding. And they heard a loud bang, they said, before the scaffolding fell and before the thing caught on fire. So definitely an explosion. And maybe it was an inside job, and maybe it was someone retaliating for Christiania, because I know that by destroying that street, that Pusher Street, they kind of upset some drug cartels in the area. So I'm not sure if that is a retaliation for that, but here they are, taking out some of the artworks that survived perfectly. So I'm willing to believe that they had these things on standby and were like, okay, take these out so that we can show the people that we're trying to save this artwork. And then the other ones will just get completely lost and sold out to the highest bidder behind the scenes to our corrupt elite friends. And that is a pretty cool fireplace. And then this one. So this place has had ancient fireplaces in it for a pretty long time, which are probably ethereal fireplaces. But even still, if they were regular fireplaces, the place didn't catch fire ever until now. How suspicious. And then these are a couple of the massive artworks in it. I hope these did not get lost or burned. Most likely, again, they didn't. They'll be on the underground art market, guaranteed, in private collections for a very long time, until the story kind of settles and blah, blah, blah. Then maybe they'll come back 100 years from now. Oh, look what we found. But it's just, again, a sinister collection of all these different things. Batman, scaffolding, right after Christiania gets changed. And so I'm not buying that, again, this was an accident or some kind of bird stepped on a wire and it created a spark and an ancient building made of brick goes up in flames. So again, totally sketchy. Look at this. You can barely even see the building there. And it's going to be very interesting to see when they get rid of the scaffolding what is actually left of this place. Because look at it. It has been around for a very long time, and it is a absolutely spectacular thing. And I wonder if that spire even had ethereal power at one point. Those balls at the top could have been resonating in frequency generators, and it might have even been at a time when they were starting to illustrate and change the artistic elements of spires. And because to me, I haven't really seen spires that are this artistic and kind of animal related, and so maybe this was a part of a new thing. Maybe it was one of the last of its kind, and they were like, okay, let's just get rid of this thing, because that other spire in the distance is pretty sweet and very symmetrical and beautiful, but it's not as really organically interesting and kind of otherworldly as this spire is, which is very unique and very cool. But look at this building again. Does it go deeper? When was its prime time? There's obviously no construction photos or artwork or anything, but there's no telling, again, this mystery and what the future holds for this masterpiece of architecture, which it truly, truly is. And I hope that we one day, get to the bottom of this, or something, or some stuff comes out about, what these sculptures mean or whatever. But if I was in Copenhagen, I would worry, because it looks like they have a plan out for that city, and it's not looking good. So everybody, do all the research we can in the ancient buildings near you, because pretty soon they may as well be gone, and we have to preserve their eternal legacies. Bless you all.